Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Denise Moore Revelle, the founder of the Own Your Amazing movement and also the creator of the Restoration Leadership Framework. I am so excited to have you with us today. I have a very special guest. He is going to be one of the speakers at my upcoming retreat, Restore, the virtual wellness retreat. So I'm excited to have none other than DeJuan Moore, a registered dietitian. He's going to be a part of the retreat talking about using nutrition as a strategy to help burn out leaders. So, welcome, Dewan, and thank you so much for saying yes for being a part of this retreat.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be a part of this and really looking forward to it.
All right, just tell us a little bit about, again, who you are and what you do.
So, again, my name is DeJuan Moore. I'm a registered dietitian. So, I work with different people from many different facets of life. Work with people that want to improve their lifestyles in any way. If you could, you improve your lifestyle, healthier eating, working through chronic diseases, many different things. So I work with a lot of people and help them achieve any health goal that they may have.
Okay, great. So, again, thank you for saying yes to being part of our retreat. So, we're going to be focusing mainly on women in leadership and burnout. So, most burnout advice, the one talks about and focuses on rest and boundaries, but you focus on nutrition. Why is nutrition such a critical piece of the burnout recovery puzzle?
Is so important, and it is one of the most looked over things when you're just going through life, when you're extremely busy, and you have a million things happening. It's easily to get caught up and just grab the first thing to eat. But you notice a lot of people that are extremely successful and that are at the top of their game. They're at the top of their game when they're eating the best and best quality foods, when they're fueling their body properly. And so it is extremely important. We gotta remember that old saying that you are what you eat, and you can't put just any old thing inside something that's trying to run so efficiently and so effectively like a leader in business. You really need to take care of yourself, and one of the things that I love to focus on is eating the proper way, eating at the proper times, and eating the proper things to help you reach that maximum level of optimization of being an effective leader.
All right. So, how does chronic stress change our relationship with food? How do you think it changes our relationship with food when we are coming with so much stress?
Everybody's familiar with that movie whenever someone's going through a breakup and we're sitting there eating a tub of ice cream because we're so stressed out. And stress just affects our nutrition on so many different levels. It affects our relationship with food. It affects our ability to just think about what we should really properly be putting in our bodies because we're trying to get through the day of just dealing with day-to-day stresses. So dealing with stress and healthy eating really go hand in hand. If you're not able to control stressors in a regular, usually those people really have a hard time with eating healthy foods. So it's extremely important. It is extremely important to debrief, take some time, think about the stress, work at it on the root level. But while you're working on that stress at the root level, make sure you're taking care of your bodies effectively, eating fruits and vegetables, eating healthy sources of protein. A lot of those things really help you clear your mind and allow you to deal with stresses in an appropriate manner. Vitamins, minerals play a large role in the way our brain functions. And so if we're able to use those things properly and eat properly, that's one big thing that'll help us with deal with that chronic stress. It may be is hard sometimes. It is really difficult sometimes to take the time to say, no, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go ahead and cook something. I'm not going to eat out, even while I got 100,000 things to do coming at me in 100,000 different directions. It's very difficult at times to what you really need at the forefront as far as nutrition. But if you're able to take that time and really eat the right things and really take care of your body, you'll see so many benefits and you'll see how much more effectively you can really operate when you're working on a healthy diet.
And I like how you made the example of the eating a tub of ice cream. I know when I'm under stress, I like crunchy stuff.
Chips, salty, all and people.
all of that. So,
Yes,
um,
yes.
just being more aware of that. Again, the relationship with food when stressed, it's like
Mhm.
how we use food as a stress coping mechanism instead of as it should be properly used, and that is, like you said earlier, to fuel our bodies, right? So in your session called Beyond Restriction, and you're very clear about nutrition without guilt. Yes.
Yes,
Why is
yes.
that messaging so important for high achieving women?
It's vital for everyone. It really is, but especially with high achieving women, there's so much at stake. You're dealing with businesses, you're dealing with different contracts, you're dealing with different corporations. You're trying to get things established. If you're not able to think clearly and think properly, it can really have a lot of consequences on not just you, but the people around you. So when you're doing things like incorporating those fruits and vegetables, having a smoothie in the morning, taking care of yourself and throughout the day, taking that little time, it may seem selfish. It may seem like it doesn't have any type of major importance, but people that are really at the top, they realize that this is something that's huge and has a great impact on ability to process at a high level. So it's vital. It's extremely vital.
And so what happens when we add food rules to an already impossible to-do list?
We put a lot of because we put a lot of stress on ourselves whenever we're dealing with those rules and those restrictions. We have a lot of guilt if we break those rules.
Right.
If you eat a bag of chips, or eat a cookie, you may feel defeated in a way. You may feel bad about your health and about your diet. When in all reality, it's a food. It could be part of any diet. One of the big things that I really work with my patients is about our relationship with food and how we see every food as something that can be acceptable. But the major key is being able to eat those things properly in the right combination and with moderation. So we eat things that are not necessarily quote unquote healthy, and then the guilt comes behind it, and then we're thinking about how we can improve our health and improve our goals, and we end up just putting some of those goals on the back burner because we don't want to give up that guilty pleasure. When in actuality, we can still reach those health goals if we're able to just manage that guilty pleasure and realize it's not a guilty pleasure. It's something that we enjoy, and you should take no guilt in enjoying something that you like. If you like cookies, then eat your cookie. But make sure we're doing it in an appropriate manner. Make sure we're having the high serving of fruits and vegetables throughout the day. Make sure you're getting good sources of clean protein. Make sure you're doing the things you need to do, and then whenever you have that good meal in which you had your salad and your protein, and then you want to have that crunchy thing that you like, then by all means feel free because it's something that you enjoy, and we want to have a good relationship with not just healthy foods, but with all foods.
I love that. And also, I was thinking about this whole idea of feeling guilty and the restrictions. And I just think a lot of high achieving women, struggle with this whole thing
Mhm.
about being perfect. And so, anytime we do something like, oh, that wasn't good, or I ate the wrong thing, then now I feel bad about it because I don't have perfection when it comes to my eating as I think I should have, like in every other part of my life. So, I think that's a big thing. And I like the fact that you really try to get your people that you work with to understand there are no restrictions. There is no guilt. You said no guilty pleasure.
No.
That you are allowed to enjoy eating the foods you want to enjoy eating.
Yeah, and think about what happens after you feel that guilt.
Yeah.
How are you able to work at your most efficient level
No.
for throughout the rest of that day? No, you're not, and it's all because you just wanted an extra bag of chips or cookies. At the root of it, it's really not that big a deal. If we're able to eat the things that we need, we can have the things that we want, and then we can also work at them really high level because we're also getting the things that we need.
I love that. So you work with busy leaders who don't have time for meal prep Sundays or
Yes.
complicated eating plans. So what's one simple evidence-based nutrition strategy that they can start using today?
I don't want to give it all away because
Yeah, just give us
once
one.
we talk to the retreat and find out
Right,
the
right,
rest of it.
exactly.
One of the easiest things you can do is something that work with people all the time. And something that you can easily do is just identify one thing that you would like, one of your staples. If you know that throughout the week you want to have chicken, if you know throughout the week you want to have rice, if you know throughout the week you may want to have a potato with your meals, take some time and just prep one item. I think one of the biggest things is we get really wrapped up in social media,
Yeah.
and we think that whenever we hear meal prep, you see the video and the video has 12 containers all in a row. And he took everything and it's chopped up in the perfect size and is cut with the exact precision. And it's you use your $1,000 pans and you use all this stuff to prep your food. And you got to be a chef to prep your food. And then when you're prepping your items, it has to all containers have to look exactly the same
Right.
and they all have to come out it perfectly seasoned and it has to be to the T. Because we're so accustomed to seeing things like that, we get intimidated. Um, and not realizing that meal prepping, it doesn't have to be the end all be all. It can be a tool. And you can just use that tool for just one or two things. If you're using that tool for one or two things, it could help your week go by so much easier. And so just taking a moment to prepare a couple of things. We're not getting ready to open a restaurant. We're not doing all these things. Take one thing that you like that's a healthy option and prepare that thing so the way we can use it and use it with multiple meals. And it'll cut down on a lot of time that you're going throughout the week because you're running businesses. You just don't have the time to do a lot of different things like that.
I love that because you're right. I've seen the whole meal prep stuff on social media, and they have all the little containers lined up, and it's in the same food. I was like, "Well, I don't want to eat the same
Yeah.
meal for 5 days in a row." I was like, "It's not appealing to me," you know.
Which
So
a lot of people are like that.
yeah,
Myself, now I can eat the same thing on a day to day basis, but I'm not the vast majority of
nope,
people. They can't. And it just does not sound appealing to them at all.
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have used your advice of meal prepping one or two things, maybe meal prep the meat, eat one or two meats at the beginning of the week. I used to do that religiously, like, do my meats on, like, a Sunday night or Monday, and then
Or
during the week, I would make the different sides to go with it.
yeah.
I would already go ahead and meal prep the meat because that's the thing once I get home, I don't feel like waiting that long to have the meats ready, but I can wait a couple of minutes to steam some vegetables or do a thing of rice. So I like that. Just pick 1 or 2 things to meal prep for the week.
Yeah, you can meal prep your salads if you want to, but it just does not have to be as intimidating as a lot of people make it up.
Love it. So let's talk about blood sugar stabilization and why that matters to burn out leaders. Blood sugar stabilization.
So one of the things that we talked earlier about is I work with a lot of different people. And that includes a lot of different disease states. So whenever you're working with a lot of different people, working with a lot of people with diabetes, and being a successful person does not immune you to different physiological ailments. There are people that are working that are, high level, that struggle with managing their blood sugar levels. And one of the biggest things to really um, decrease your energy levels is to have a blood sugar crash. At those moments, you really just can't function.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that we try to emphasize is how do we take care of ourselves so that we don't get to that point where we're struggling to manage our blood sugars and manage diabetes and things like that or pre-diabetes. And even if we get to the point where we are having, to deal with our diabetes, how do we manage it in a way where we can be most effective and still be a leader and still work at an optimal level? Just because you have issues with your blood sugars doesn't mean you can't be a leader and you can't continue to push your business and push your corporation and continue to evolve. But it's really important that we still manage those things effectively. So one of the major things whenever you have a food that's high on the glycemic index, those foods tend to have really quick responses to our blood sugar levels. The bad side of that is that when that blood sugar crashes, there's a lot of different ailments that occur. One of fatigue, lightheadedness, dizziness, things like that. And those are things you can't have whenever you're for high stakes. You're sometimes, There's a lot of things going on, and you just can't lose a day. Losing a couple hours can be critical if you're dealing with big businesses and contracts and things like that. You got to stay on top of your game, doing things where we're eating healthy foods in the right combination, eating fruits with proteins, to eating fiber to slow down that blood sugar level instead of having it spike, having that steady blood sugar state where we're able to think properly and think clearly it's everything for somebody that's trying to um, work at a high level and how you when you're wearing a lot of different hats, you have to be able to be on your A game all the time.
Yeah. And so what I'm understanding is that the whole blood sugar stabilization really affects your energy and your ability
Yes,
to stay focused. And I
yes,
know a lot
definitely.
of people struggle with like that mid-afternoon crash. And then a
Yes,
lot of times they reach for things that's not going to
but
help their
then
energy, maybe a candy bar or a soft drink, some of the things that's not really going to help them to have the energy, but it's going to cause them to crash and not be able to really function and have the right energy. So you're going to be sharing with us ways that we can, could overcome that or some better options, right? I'm hoping
yeah,
in the
definitely, definitely,
okay.
definitely. Yes,
All right.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, all right, before I let you go, what should attendees expect during your session, and what's the one thing you hope they walk away with for your session?
Yeah, show up and find out. But no, seriousness, but I can't wait for the retreat. I think you're gonna definitely take away just ways to improve your health, ways to improve your life, ways to improve your energy. And then you're gonna learn that it's not as hard as you think. You're gonna get some techniques that we're gonna go over some things is like that can be practical, that can fit in your schedule,
Mhm.
even though your schedule is extremely hectic.
Yes.
We gonna give you things that'll definitely work with your schedule, and you're going to have more energy. You're going to have not going to have those crashes. You're going to have more energy at the workplace. Your mind's going to be clearer. You're going to have more energy outside the workplace. You're going to be able to definitely help with that work life balance. You'll have the energy to play with the kids after you get home, go out, play with the loved ones, do things that you want to do in addition to working your business and working and doing the things you have to do. We want to do things that we have to do so we can do the things that we want to do and be able to have fun doing them. So
All
we
right.
will hopefully be able to learn some things about how to do that.
All right, sounds good, Dewan. Thank you so much. Look forward to having you being a part of Restore, the virtual wellness retreat. Thank you again for saying yes. If anything that Dewan shared today sounds like something you need to hear, then you need to register today. You don't want to miss his session. You want to be in the room when he's dropping those golden nuggets about how you can really use nutrition as a strategy to help you to have sustainable leadership. All right. Make sure you register. There will be a link with this video so that you can register today. Dewan and I look forward to seeing you next week at Restore. All right, bye.